Welcome to Fresno CityVision. I'm Randy Reed. Over the next 3 years, nearly every home in the city of Fresno will be outfitted with a water meter to help all of us better manage one of our most precious natural resources. Once meters are installed and activated, those of us who live in single-family homes will begin paying for the water we use. Those of us who use more will pay more, and those of us who use less will pay less. Here to talk about the water meter program is Rene Ramirez, the Director of Public Utilities for the City of Fresno. Rene, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Randy. Thank you for having me today.
My pleasure. And so tell us about how we got here. Homes, single-family homes, have not been metered in the city of Fresno historically. They've been on a flat rate system, but other components of our residence, apartments and condos and commercial buildings have been. But how have we gotten to where we are today?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, for many decades, the city of Fresno water customers, we've got basically two classes. We've got a residential class and a non-residential class. The residential class has been typically billed on a flat rate basis, meaning that for whatever volume of water we use, we were not measuring it, but we were charging you a flat rate on a monthly basis. Our non-residential customer, that class includes commercial, institutional, industrial, and multifamily homes, which is actually a subset of a residential. All those customers have been metered for many decades now. Okay. So now we're at a point where there's been some change in legislation, which I'm going to just talk about briefly to put it in context for the community. Back in 2003, the State Assembly passed Assembly Bill 514, which basically said that all water users of Central Valley Project water. Central Valley Project water is federal water available in different parts of the state of California. For Fresno, that means we're getting water from the San Joaquin River watershed behind Bryant Dam. That water now, as we are being told, we have to measure it and have meters in place by the beginning of 2013 and have a metered rate structure with which to charge those customers by March of 2013. In 2004, there was another piece of assembly language that was adopted, Assembly Bill 2572, which basically said all cities or urban water providers in the state of California have to have meters in place by 2025. We're going to be ahead of the game, but that's fine. Mm-hmm. And I think the last part that's important to state here is, again, the Central Valley Project. We have an agreement with the United States Department of Interior, Bureau of Reclamation, for water behind Bryant Dam. We have a 40-year contract that was recently renewed in 2005, and one of the stipulations in that contract is, again, the metering component. We have to have meters in by 2013. So we're in the process of getting to that point, installing meters.
Okay, so in order to have access to that water that we really have to have in order to provide for the needs of the community, meters are a requirement.
You know, that Central Valley Project water is about 40% of our water supply, and that's water we use to recharge artificially near the Fresno International Airport. There's about a 200-acre artificial recharge site we call Leaky Acres. Mm-hmm. And then we also put water in flood control bases in the summertime when flood control is not using them for winter storm runoffs. So we use that water to recharge the groundwater that we pull out of the ground. And then we also operate, many know, in Northeast Fresno, a surface water treatment plant. So we take this Central Valley Project water, put it through that treatment plant, and make it available to our customers.
Okay. So approximately how many single-family homes will be outfitted with water meters when this project is complete?
That's a good question. There's about 110,000 residential water customers that are going to receive water meters.
So this is a very large project.
It's a very large project, and I think it's important to note, and people have asked us, that there is not going to be an additional charge to our water customers to pay for this program. It is already built into the current water rate structure that we have in place.
Okay, so there won't be a large bill coming to customers to pay for this meter, which is actually going to be installed outside of their home.
That's correct.
Okay, built into the rates, as you're saying, over time. Okay, so now this is the meter. We actually have some close-up images that we'd like to take a look at. Here's one close-up of the meter. What are we looking at here? What's here?
Yeah, well, I think what's important for our customers to see is that all water meters basically measure the throughput of water through the brass portion of it, and it converts the throughput of the water onto the dial. And so you see the needle in the dial spins around. It kind of looks like the speedometer on your car, except it's not measuring speed, it's measuring actually the flow of water through it. So when that needle makes a complete circumference around the registered dial, in this particular case, it's going to register the use of 10 gallons of water.
Okay, so one revolution by that needle equals 10 gallons of water.
10 gallons of water, right.
Okay.
And I think another thing to point out to water customers is just to the left of the center of that dial, there's another little star-looking device.
Right.
That device there, it indicates whenever water is moving through the water meter. So I think one thing that what our customers can do for themselves in the future is if you suspect that you have a water leak, you know, maybe your water bill looks a little different, maybe more than what you thought.
Right.
First thing you might want to do is find out if you have a water leak. That little star, if it is moving, it's an indication that there is water moving through the meter. And these water meters are calibrated to measure very small flow. So, I mean, if you even have a few drops of water, it is going to capture the throughput.
Okay, so that'll be a good way for folks to monitor and manage their own water use. Now, another component of these meters, as I understand it, is they will be electronically read, as opposed to having a meter reader going out and flipping up the top and writing down the reading.
That is right. Yeah, that is one of the things that we thought was going to be important for us, because as a growing community, we have a 110 square mile area with which we're going to be putting these water meters. And instead of having an army of water meter readers out there, either walking or driving vehicles, and we felt it was more important to use technology that is available, reliable technology. So the council agreed with us. We made a recommendation to the council, and they agreed with us that what we are going to have is an automated meter reading system. So connected to this black dial up on top, you see a cord there, I think, in one of the pictures.
Right,
again.
you can see it here as well.
You can see it here, right. And then
Okay.
there's this gray box here.
Okay.
Every time that dial makes a complete revolution and registers 10 gallons of water, it is going to send a signal to this gray box. This gray box contains a little radio transmitter, and that radio transmitter is going to send a signal to a receiving pole, which is going to be typically located at a water pump station that the Fresno's Water Division operates.
All right.
That pole receives the information from this gray box here, and it's going to broadcast the information about that specific water customer to the Water Division, and then the Water Division is going to send that information to the Utility Billing and Collections Office at City Hall, where the water bills will be generated. So it's going to save us a lot of time with which to have people going out there and reading water meters. And I think the other thing that is going to be useful to our customers is we're hoping that we'll be able to build an application where folks can come online if they have a computer at home, dial in their account number, maybe with a password, and take a look at what their water consumption is on the computer.
Okay.